Hello and welcome to episode 37 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough with the Iron Teeth in Cycle 59, Day 14. We've got a bad tide coming in just a little bit, so before we get into that, let's take a quick look around and talk about what's going to happen in this episode. Now, you'll remember we set the Earth Repopulator off last time, and we're going to do it again. But it's not going to be a very quick process to get another 500 treated planks and 500 berries in there. Oh, well, the treated planks we kind of already have. But we're going to need to do a little bit of changing around of some stuff in here. Starting with these trees up here. Saw a great idea that was to remove these trees and replace them with more berries. And I guess we can do some coffee as well. Because if we want to ever have 500 beavers again, we're going to need a whole lot more berries. So we're going to go ahead and get that set up now, actually. Just clear cut all of these oak trees because we do not need them. We have more than enough wood. Our storage is completely full. And I think this amount of wood, now that we're no longer doing giant construction projects, should be adequate. So, yeah, we're going to get that started right now. Of course, filled in during a time lapse to happen later. But outside of that, I would like to try to get our population up as close to 500 as we can, or 485, whatever the actual design capacity of this was. I think it was about 485. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to do a little bit more decoration with our lanterns and all sorts of other fun stuff that we'll get taken care of in a time lapse here in a little bit. But I want to start this bad tide because we have so much food, so much water. We're going to give these beavers a weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and set that now that it's quitting time already anyway. Set that to a whole 0 hours, and we're going to start our time-lapse, folks. So, what you're going to see, like I said before, is we're going to have the beavers doing absolutely nothing for at least a couple of days. Try and get that well-being score up, get everybody have access to all of the recreational opportunities, different foodstuffs, and everything that their hearts desire. And then we'll put them back to work. We'll put those berries in. We'll try to grow some stuff. Get our food situation a little bit more leveled out in terms of what's being grown, what's being processed. Do a little bit of decorating. And just see exactly what it is that's going to happen here. And of course, you can hear that going on in the background as I'm sitting here talking about our time lapse. As I see this now, it's up to 70, 71. It's probably going to keep going. Yep, 72. And yeah, there's so much improvement that can be done by just, letting the beavers have access to stuff. So hopefully you can forgive those annoying sounds every couple of seconds. It's not going to match what's on the screen. But yeah, I don't even know what the number is going to be. You'll be able to see it because I'll keep that up. But if we can get up to about 80, 85, then I think that's going to be the best possible thing that we could do. Because we do get the extra points for some of these mods that I've got installed. I think 80 is about the most you can get in vanilla, regardless. But we'll see what happens as stuff continues improving and we get more berries, we get more coffee. Well, we're already completely full on coffee, but it never hurts to have extra stored away. And then doing all of our various improvements as well. And then hopefully, by the end of this episode, we can set that thing off again. Or at the very least, be pretty close to it. I know you guys don't always like these time lapses to be super, super long or a super huge portion of the episode. But remember, this is episode 37. Normally the series lasts about 30 to 35. So I am planning on 38, the episode on Wednesday, being the final one for this series, where hopefully we'll have everything all set up and we'll be able to launch that thing at least one additional time, so 3 times total. We'll see what happens. Alright, so that was about, 25 minutes of real life me going around and looking at stuff. For you guys, not quite so much time. But what we went ahead and did, saw that the well-being got up to 77 during our beaver weekend, so that was nice to see. Put a whole bunch more of these lanterns in, of course, this wonderful Beaverberg sign. Don't ask me why the umlaut's here. Someone decided that that was how this had to be spelled in Series 15, and it's stuck since, so not exactly sure how that would change the pronunciation of Beaverberg, but there you go. I wanted to put the 19 here, but couldn't quite fit that in with the Roman numerals, so I figured that was good enough. Like you can see here, more lanterns swaying in the breeze. We replaced their blueberries, which are still going to take some time to grow and then bear fruit for us. And we started restocking the Earth Repopulator, which has 283 of its berries out of 500. But we have a problem now where our reproduction pods aren't reproducting. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the Earth Repopulator so we don't put all of our berries in one basket, as it were. And we'll see if this doesn't improve at all. I did take one row of these coffee bushes on this side out so I could put in some additional blueberries. And then I did the same kind of thing over here. But I think overall, things are looking pretty good. Put a couple of these Torii gates in here. But I don't think we're going to have room for the big ones. The Great Wooden or the Great Metal. I mean, I know I could put the Great Metal somewhere. But I can't find a place that actually looks good for that to go in. And this guy, this is so huge. There's no chance of this fitting in this playthrough unless I put it over here. And then at that point, it's, you know, it's not going to cover the entire housing block, and that was kind of the whole reason behind wanting to do this anyway. But we've got two from the gorgeous category, and then I put a couple of the demo ones in. I think I did. I actually don't remember. Maybe I didn't. Well, let's check our... Nope. Ordinary has nothing, and the Great One has nothing. But a lot of the fun stuff needs a little bit of a recharge here in terms of which beavers are able to use it. It does look like all of our mud baths are filled up with mud, and we have detailers available, but I think it's because we don't have the giant population of beavers right now. Because we had so many that sadly perished in the Great Famine of 2 episodes ago, it's going to take a while to get back to that. And I didn't want to have this time-lapse run for like an hour when I only had about, what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes of talking to put it over. Oh, we also have these paper lanterns here, which are doing their paper lantern best to light up this pathway. But pretty much the major arterials, if you will, are all covered in lanterns, so any beaver at some point in the day is going to have a pass at some of these things, and hopefully that ends up looking a whole lot better on our well-being thing. It pretty much should be. As far as I can tell, yep, 293 out of 293. And then this stuff is just going to have to come in time as the beavers have the time to go in and take care of stuff. But you can see the berries slowly going back into the reproduction pods here. And then, of course, eventually we'll have this whole thing filled up and we'll set it off again. But I think just the sheer amount of time that it takes to get these blueberries growing from nothing is probably a pretty big contributor to what we've got going on here. So, I mean, the weekend was great. It actually gave us a big boost all the way up to 77. You can see now it's down to 58. So we're going to want to do that again. I just need to make sure that we are in a spot where it's going to make sense. And see, look at all this. Look at all this. I figured we probably had way too much in the way of canola here. But, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of unharvested canola. And I think part of it's probably because we have less than 300 beavers. And that was always going to be kind of a problem that we couldn't really resolve until we had the design population of just south of 500. But again, it's all stuff that just takes time. So we're going to do a little bit more decorating, and then we'll see what else it is that we can do. But there's really not that much else in terms of getting all the beavers to actually get the benefits that we can do, short of just giving them more time. That's all the fun stuff. The Earth Repopulator effect is going to slowly go down. Once we set it off again, though, it'll be right back where it was. And then, yeah, pretty much is just campfires, rooftop terraces, and then, you know, not getting injured, not having broken teeth. But there's not too much you can do with that when you don't have any bots. So I don't really know where to put campfires. I don't know that there's really anywhere to put campfires, short of filling in a little bit of the space around our mangroves. which some of you are saying that we have way too many mangrove trees and fruits and stuff. I don't know. I think for the 500 beavers, we're going to need pretty much all of these. But I don't really have a good place to put any more of those campfires. Now, update 7, when that comes out, and we have the ability to put terrain on top of overhangs and all that stuff, then okay, yeah, you're never going to have a problem putting in any of that kind of stuff. But for now, I guess probably our only hope for putting in additional campfires is going to be like one right here. And then, honestly, that might be it. I've got space up here, kind of. But I'm not sure, one, that this is going to even be a viable location for it in the first place. And two, how am I going to get the beavers in there? Like, I know I could put two, I could put three of them in here. But how are they going to get in? How are they going to take advantage of all the campfire goodness when this doesn't connect to anything? And the only way to really get in there would be to have this come around the outside. It's our favorite thing ever. I just don't know that it's really viable. Like, obviously this would technically work. It would just be a massively, massively inefficient way of doing things. Which, let's be honest, has never stopped us before. But I hate to think of being the beaver that has to come over here to go get some campfire goodness where it's all the way down here. You gotta come down, and then you go around, and by the time you get to the campfire, you're already campfired out. You want to go back to bed. I don't know, maybe that's not my problem to solve. I think the amount of wood that we're actually still using isn't going to require having this many trees. But at the same time, I really feel like I don't want to be in a situation where I have to have more trees and I don't have them. But the way this is set up, I really don't know that there's a better option for this. I mean, I guess I could put, that would be one tree, that's the wrong button. Good job, me. One tree, 2 tree, 3 tree, and by tree I mean campfires. I could put 3 of them right there. I guess that's okay. But I can't fit in more than one over here because of how this is laid out. So, not really a great way to do things over here. I guess we'll find out. They built these campfires pretty quickly. So, maybe not. But this is the part of the episode where I kind of struggle to think of more stuff to do. I mean, we're basically at the end. But the population isn't quite there. That's the one thing I really want to make sure can catch up. And I think, honestly, it's just going to have to be a whole time-lapse thing. That's about it. So we are going to enter the time-lapse once again. It's going to be a short episode. I know you want the longer ones, but the only way we're going to get to 500 in time for the next episode, which probably also is going to have to be time-lapses, is going to be to just run the stuff and make sure we have enough berries. I can see that berry number climbing on my my monitor here as I'm sitting here talking to you. But we're going to let this stuff run for a little bit, accumulate a pretty healthy stock of berries, and then get that Earth Repopulator restocked, and then hopefully launch it off and say goodbye for this episode, and then come back for the finale, which is always fun. Remember, I said I wanted to set this off a couple more times, and I really want to have 500 beavers. And I think the food and the water systems are not going to have any problem supporting all that. So, like I said, just let this thing operate how it wants to operate. We'll do our end of episode fun stuff that we always do, including thanking the beard boosters and you guys who are not part of that, just for being here making this series possible. It really would not be possible without your support, so I really appreciate you. I hope that you've enjoyed this. This has been a very fun playthrough. I never really did too much with terraforming before, or these mega reservoirs to this degree with the overhangs or anything, so it's fun to experiment. It's fun to try some interesting new stuff out and see what does and does not work, and get some ideas for future playthroughs. This is one of the smallest maps I've ever done a full series on. What is this, 100 something by 50? So actually, yeah, it is the smallest one outside of the diorama livestream playthrough. That was a whole lot of fun when we messed with those side platforms. But I've got some ideas for some new playthroughs before we get to update 7 sometime next year, ostensibly. But that's all I've got for this. We'll see you on the other side of this time-lapse where we're going to set off that Earth Repopulator once more and then look forward to the end of this series on the first of the year. Alright, here we are in cycle 61, day 1. You might notice that we did have our beaver weekend running again. Intermittently, I did kind of turn it on and off a little bit because we're getting those breeding halted, cultivation halted things. But you will note that the Earth Repopulator has been fully restocked and is ready to go. And I did turn the beavers back on for an 8-hour workday. We have our well-being up to 76, which is just about everything that can possibly be ready to go, with the exception of the detailer and the exercise plaza getting everybody just because of capacity issues. I did put in these little gates. Big ones, no, but everything else pretty much ready to go. So, you know the drill. It's time once again to hit launch on this bad boy, and that's going to be it for this episode. There we go, up to 78. See how high this goes. We'll speed this up a little bit, just so this doesn't take a billion years. But I really like that animation. It's just really, really cool stuff. And away it goes. So yeah, that's our second launch. You'll note that it is a back up all the way, well, almost all the way to a +10. I'm sure everyone will get their bonus in due time. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one, folks. We are trudging ever onward toward our 500 population goal. Might have to do a little bit more fiddling to make that a possible thing. Extend our working hours up to 14. That's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. I know it's a short one, but like I said, there's not much I can do in real time short of just saying, hey, we're waiting for stuff, so I'm not going to subject you to that. Make sure I condense as much as possible the stuff that we've already done a billion times. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back for the finale of this series on January 1st on Wednesday. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.